Welcome to my channel, and today we are checking out our problem of the day in LeetCode. So the question is fraction addition and subtraction, and the description is given a string expression representing an expression of fraction addition and subtraction. Return the calculation result in string format. The final result should be an irreducible fraction. If your final result is an integer, change it into the format of a fraction that has denominator 1. So in this case, 2 should be converted to 2 by 1. So the input is a string and it contains the expression of fractions and the operations are addition and subtraction. So let's take an example and understand the problem more clearly. So let's say we are given an expression with the input as 120 is divided by 25 minus 1 by 3. Let's say we have this fraction and how we calculate in mathematical representation. So in mathematical representation it will be as 120 by 25 and minus 1 by 3, right? So first what we will do is simplify the fraction into the as possible as we reduce the fraction, right? So here 25 goes 5 times of 5 and 120 goes 24 times. So the reduced fraction is 24 by 5 minus 1 by 3, right? So the result is we have to do cross multiplication, right? So 24 into 3 and 1 into 5. So the result will be 24 times 3 minus 1 into 5, right? And at last we have to multiply the both the denominators, which is 5 into 3. So the result is it is the 72 minus 15 by 15, right? So and this goes as the 60 57, I think. I think it is 57 and by 15. So this is the reduced fractions and the result should be like in string format, right? First we print 57 and divided by symbol slash and 1 5. So this is our result output. So what we have to do, so initially we have to calculate each fraction, right? Each fraction numerator and denominator, and we have to find its next numerator and denominator, and we have to do the operation. So it means we have to find numerator 1, numerator 2, operation 1. That's right. So let's say initially we have a numerator 0 and denominator as 1. So we have already this, and by iterating more string we get first numerator as 120, and the second I mean the first denominator is 25. Here initially there is no sign, right? So it means it by default it will be plus. So what we will do, we add this plus, right? So 0 by 1 is which is equal to 0. 0 plus 120 by 25 is 120 by 25, right? So then next we completed these two, and what we will do, we find the next numerator which is 1, and we find the next numerator which I mean denominator which is 3, and we carry forward the operation, right, which is minus. So we have to do subtraction minus, and it is the same as it before as mathematical representation, right? We have to do cross multiplication and multiply the both denominators and reduce it to the it reduce as possible as we have to reduce the fraction, right? So now let's go with the coding part. Okay, guys. So initially we need a numerator, let's say n equal to 0, and the denominator d is equal to 1. So after that, we need an index array, I mean index pointer, which iterates from index to expression dot length. What we will do, we have to find for every fraction there will be sign, right? So let us take the sign as into sign. It will be initially plus one, right? So let's take plus one. So if expression dot character at of I, it means the our current pointer is pointing to the negative operation. Our sign will be minus one, right? So our sign will be minus one, and we increment the index pointer, right? Index plus plus. Sorry, it is not I, it is IDX. And if it is not equal to minus one, and we have to check it with a plus symbol, right? So if expression dot character at IDX is equal to plus, and we have to do nothing. Initially we got plus one, right? So we have to do IDX plus plus. And what we have to do, we have to find the next numerator, right? So let's say instead of finding a next numerator directly, we find uh, the starting index of that numerator, right? So let's say, let's me remove this part. So let's say when we are at here, uh, wait a minute. So when you are here, up to where you have the first numerator before the slash, right? So we keep track of starting index of a integer, and we find the last index where slash ends, so that we get this substring, right, which starts with here and ends with here, right? So as well as for denominator also. For denominator, we start from after slash, and we will end up this up to the total numbers. So if there are continuous digits, those will be added to our digit, right? I mean next denominator. So let's go with the coding part. So initially we have numerator starting index, which is IDX, and what we have to do, while expression dot character idx is not equal to the slash, we have to do idx plus plus. So when it is equal to, we get our ending index, which is index. So we calculate what we can say, let's say numerator equal to what it would be, expression dot substring of, or what is the starting index of numerator, num start, right? So numerator start, and the last index would be index, right? And we have to convert it into integer. So let's say integer dot parse it, and we have to calculate our denominator, right? So for denominator, let's say we have to start from digit, right, after slash. So what we can do, so let's say while uh, and we increment, we store the denominator starting point, d star equal to index, and so we have to increment idx right before, because up to here it does not consider the slash index, so we have to move after slashing. After moving, after slashing, we have to store the IDX starting for denominator. And what we have to do while our expression dot character I, which represent is digit. If it is that number, we have a function, built-in function to check is digit. And if it is digit, what we have to do IDX plus plus, right? So here IDX. So while it is a contiguous disease, we increment IDX, right? So when our IDX and should be within the limit, right? So IDX is less than our expression dot length, and character dot is disease of that character. We increment IDX. So we get a denominator equal to, which is integer dot parseInt of expression dot substring of, what is our denominator starting point, a d star, and ending point would be index. So this condition fails when it does not get a digit, right, which means the denominator ends, so we get denominator value. And so we have our numerator and denominator, and we have our previous numerator n and d, and what we have to do, we have to do the operation, right? So the operation is holds on sign, right? So what we have to do, we have to multiply our sign with numerator. Numerator equal to or star equal to sign. We multiply that sign. Now what we have to do, we have to update our new numerator with by cross multiplication, right? So our previous numerator is multiplied with the denominator plus, plus or minus is the same, because the numerator value is changed. If it is negative, it here it comes as negative. So what we have to do, our numerator is multiplied with the previous denominator, and our current denominator is multiplied with new previous denominator, and we have our calculated n and d, let's say, as we have like let's say we have our result array as 120 by 25, and what we have to do, we have to simplify this fraction, right? How we can simplify, we have to divide a numerator and denominator with common divisor, right? And it should be greater, so which is, we find the GCD of a numerator and denominator, and we just simply uh, I mean divide the GCD of both numbers to numerator and denominator, right? So let's say we have a function which is the GCD, and it gives our GCD value of numerator and denominator. So in case if n is negative or 0, it can be handled with math dot absolute value of numerator. And what we have to do, we have to divide n with GCD, and d with GC. So we define GCD method. We write it here, public int GCD, and you know the GCD, which is a basic function for a computer science student. So we call it recursion function. We return GCD of b comma a mod b, and if whenever our b equal to 0, we return Return A, right? So at last we have calculated numerator and denominator, and what we have to do, we have to convert it into string, and we append our slash symbol, and we add denominator. So I think that's it. Let me check the, is there any compilations? IDX, IDX. Okay, let's go. Okay, let me compile it. Yeah, accepted, guys. So let me just submit our solution. Yeah, it goes well. It beats up 84.86%. Let's check the complexity. It is order of n since we are iterating our entire string, and our GCD function, it doesn't take much time because we are going with recursive function, and it calls function with less number of times, I mean a constant time. So that's it for today, guys, and see you in the next lecture. If you have any doubts or you didn't understand any part of the program or video, you can comment down. See you in the next video.